Hey everybody, this is Glidercat and it's time to play. We're back in Evospace. Let's get back to it. This episode's going to be a little different. I want to walk you through a bunch of the work we've done between episodes and my current thinking on what we want to do next. So as you can see, we've got some new walkways here. And they're not just walkways. Underneath, I've got some materials being routed. Let's see if I can hop on this ladder, get down here. I've got power. I moved that big power cable that was up above ground, underground. So that's kind of coming from our power plant, and it's feeding, let's see, where does it go? Over here, this little branch actually feeds up into our stone building products factory. Take a look at that. I haven't really done much with that. But then this one, this run of power line goes under all of our mining rigs, mining the redstone, the regular stone, and I think that's redstone there, that's the regular stone, and then that's the dark stone. All getting powered from below now, it's just a little cleaner. And if we hang out in the underground here, I do need to put lights and more pavement blocks and things down here. But this guy goes... Get a few little access hatches. Hey, we could actually see outside over here, right? We can fill in these. I'll do this kind of between episodes. I don't want to fill it with those. I want to fill it with dirt. Wait a minute. Dirt. Yeah, just filling these gaps a little bit. Yeah, we have to go into the water here a little bit because the whole world has a water table that's a certain level down, and we're kind of in a low area of the map. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. That power line goes to, I think, the main. I think this is our power plant. Yeah, this is a whole floor underneath our mining drills. I will probably do something down here. Make this feel more realistic. I mentioned this before. Do I have any of this? Yeah, copper casing. What I'll probably do... In fact, this whole run is going to go... Just to demonstrate, let's get rid of this run of wire. Grab copper casing. I think that's where it goes. Might actually do something like this underneath each mining drill. To kind of simulate, just for immersion's sake, to simulate the actual drill going down underground, not just mining the floor tiles here for coal. Up here on the coal, or where the miners are, I could move those down a floor too, but man, that's kind of a little more work than I want to do. Could have those underground like this, but I'll probably just put those pillars down. Might look interesting. I made this more consolidated or more compact. And it looks like we're keeping up. Here, this line is backing up, which is kind of what I want. Coal. That's been changed. Add some drilling rigs there. We come up to the level with the ovens. This has also been kind of reconfigured, so it's a little more compact. Still not ultra compact. I do not like super compact factories. I get claustrophobic with them. But we've got our creosote being routed down a pipe down the middle. A belt bringing the coal down, the raw coal into the ovens, and then an output belt, which takes our coke, and that line's backed up too, which is what I like to see. And the coke goes up a floor to the power generation. I've seen this before. I've scaled it maybe a little bit more. Here's all our little turbines. Generating energy for us. I think we're at 50% capacity, yeah. We've got some headroom, all our boilers, and then this is where we're burning off the creosote. And I think we're keeping up. I just have one fluid furnace doing that. So that's this floor, and I need to add more floors because we're probably going to scale this thing up. While we're up here, you can see the brick building factory. That has been closed off. I did more work on the copper factory. Closed off the floor, put the windows in. And I don't think I did anything at our circuits factory much at all. Let's fly. Last episode, we worked on improving our processing of the copper ore. And so we did one production line, and I've scaled this way up. Show you how this all works. Raw copper ore comes in, goes into the little pounder, automatic hammer. I think that's water feeding into our ore washer. And then this is the ore water, dirty ore water going out. I've got an extra section of pipe here. Embarrassed. Gotta start this video over. Right now, the ore water is just being dumped into a kind of a fluid dump. Now, we want to process this ore water for clay and a bunch of other resources, but we're not doing it yet. So, steel hammer, ore washer, in comes the water, out goes the ore water. And on this side, out comes the ground clean copper dust or something. Let's see what it says. Guys kicking out the ore gravel. Then we've got our macerator or macerator. That's going to kick out impure ore dust. And you can see this is backing up. This is a backup I don't like. We get a 50% chance, if we look at the recipe here, boom. When we run copper ore gravel through a macerator, we've got a 50% chance of getting an extra nugget or an extra little pile of copper impure ore dust. And that's kind of throwing off our ratios a bit. It's a good problem to have. We've got extra here. And then that... What is all this mess? This mess... Oh. I've got one little special line here that's doing something special. So I'm taking some of that copper impure ore dust, taking some of it and just feeding it into this separator. And that's going to give me copper ore dust into a separator. It's going to give me pure copper dust. There it is. And when you put pure copper dust into a steel press, you get copper blocks. What can you do with copper blocks? Pretty much nothing. So here's copper blocks. Once you've converted copper dust into copper blocks, that's it. You don't get these. You don't get that copper dust back. So why am I doing it? Just to do it. Just to make them. They go down the floor. We store them, and then maybe I'll use those copper blocks to build with or something. There's cheaper ways to do it, but I just kind of wanted to do it to do it. The rest of that powder is going into our arc smelter. That's kicking out copper ingots for us, and then ingots go onto a big old output belt, which actually travels this way. Here's our copper ingots. They go down into storage, and then underground over to our circuits factory. It's all kind of backed up, which is good. So we're overproducing copper big time. Not to mention we have 3 belts of just raw ore that we haven't even touched yet. So lots of capacity here, untapped capacity. What else is happening? There is... Where is it? Where is it? Back over this way I didn't talk about. Out of the ore washer, we look at this guy. Boom. When we run the impure ore gravel through our washer, got the same kind of thing. We saw the ore water getting dumped, saw the copper ore gravel getting kind of pushed along. We got a 10% probability of getting gold dust. So that is being output with a filter inserter onto this belt. And as you might imagine, this guy travels down, goes down and into storage. Same thing here. This is more gold dust going down into storage. And so these are mirror images. This factory is this half is exactly the same, but a mirror image of this half over here. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines on this side, another 5 lines, so 10 lines. And when I mentioned we're getting that extra bunch of this extra impure ore dust out of the macerator. we should be running this through 2 arc furnaces. So this line and this line only, just because I was experimenting with it, has 2 arc furnaces that can convert that excess copper dust and turn it into ingots for us. Right now, ingots are all backed up, so not doing anything. That's what's been going on with copper. We've got more floors if we want to do something else here and expand. I was going to start doing a whole nother line of copper processing, but our belt's backed up. So right now I'm putting this all on hold. And then this little display here was just an experiment with if we wanted to do like massive storage, we could stack 2 of these racks and store up a bunch of these and have rows of these racks with copper ingots stored if we want. That was just an idea. I don't know if we'll need to do that, but that's an option we may have later. We'll see what we come up short on, or what kind of resources we really want to have a lot on hand, if any. That's what's been going on with copper. Nothing to do here yet, or nothing more to do immediately. There are a bunch of products we can make out of copper ingots. We saw some of these. If we look at copper plates, we've got the copper casing. We've got copper chairs. Potentially we might use those for decorative stuff. Where was the other stuff? Here. Copper corners, copper beams. I'm making use of the copper beams quite a bit in this design. Copper corners. And then we saw the that copper casing earlier that we put under the mining rig. So I'd like to automate all those copper building products. There's another one that's kind of cool that I came across too. It's this one, rusty copper casing. So that looks kind of cool. It's like the copper casing, but it's got a little more detail on it. You also might notice I've got a flashlight now. And I don't know how to turn it off, but we can turn it off that way. There you can see the detail on the rusted copper casing. That might be cool to use somewhere underground, maybe, for aesthetics. All right, what else can I show you? Let's go over to the brick factory real quick. And then we'll talk about plans for upcoming episodes. That's our little temporary steel production. It's actually doing super duper well, and we've got more steel than I can use. Here we've got, I swapped out the rack storage for these little boxes because stone tiles stack to almost 1,000. And so we can get lots and lots of thousands in one of these containers. We cannot get lots and lots of thousands out of this. We get 4.1 thousand. Stone doesn't stack, so it makes sense to put it in here. Stone only stacks to like 32 or something. Makes sense to use these racks for that material. But for these process materials, makes sense to use these chests. Look at all that brick we've got, tons. I definitely need to upgrade the production on these guys, the stone tiles. If we go up a floor, I don't think I've done anything since last time. No, I need to scale this out. And then we'll probably convert these 2 lines at least just to doing the brick. We'll get rid of doing the tiles. Get rid of this extra processing into bricks. And then we'll add lines here to do bricks and we should be good. Probably going to be using these bricks that we're standing on the most, especially underground. That's that. And then the last thing I guess to look at, which hasn't really changed. A little bit. Aesthetically, I changed it a little bit in here. This is the mining area. I just kicked up these rocks higher. I had mined them down. Now it looks a little bit more like we're underground mining things. I do need to put a light down here. Some kind of lights. So what do we want to work on next? If we look at the map, the plan has been to go down this way. We had coal and we have iron right next to each other. And when we were looking at the processing or the production lines for iron, we know we need coal in order to make steel, if I'm not mistaken. So if we walk down there, oh man, that's a walk. But if we go over there, show you. We've got little sidewalks running between these buildings on the far side. You can't see them yet. Map. Gotta go across this water. But yeah, next would be doing the steel. And steel is going to be involved. Also with steel, competing for steel is to take that ore water that we're dumping and process that somewhere. We'll talk about that in a second. So we can get clay out of that. There's other materials that we want out of that ore water, and right now we're just dumping it. So somewhere over here, if I can find it, I started digging out a huge platform for our steel. It's going to be iron mining, coal mining, and then going vertically up. A big, huge factory to process that iron ore into steel. Using the coal here, and then we can run power underground or something out here. Don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it over here, even though I spent a bunch of time chewing this all back. The reason being, if we look at the map, and we just hover the mouse around, you can see what the height is. You can see where it said, where my mouse is, it says grassland height 6 and all that. That makes it extremely hard for me to route materials underground because we hit the water. At height 0, I think that's where the water level is, no matter where you're at on the map. So down here, the height's nice and high. It's not bad, 24, 25. But we do want to run power over here somehow. And so it'd have to be kind of underwater. It's not unheard of to have underwater power lines, but I don't like the idea. So I started scanning resources over here. Now our little rock products building is kind of right here at the center of the map, in this volcanic desert area. And as we go north from there, look at the heights, getting higher and higher. Yeah, tons of ground that we can kind of dig under and do cool things. In fact, if we zoom back, this whole area of the map is pretty high. And that would allow me to do like underground subways for belts of material that might look kind of cool as we scale up and do more and more stuff. I'm thinking of moving up this way. We'll keep our existing factories, but when it comes time to start building steel, maybe we want to do it up here. And because that's going to be a fairly involved process. And so I started scanning for ore resources here, and we found a bunch of iron deposits, tons of aluminum, a little bit of copper, a little bit of uranium, a bunch of mineral water, some oil, which we can't harvest yet till we get to the next couple higher tiers. I was looking for coal near this iron, and the closest deposit I could find was over here. So how did I do that scanning? Let's make our way back up that way. We need to go this direction. If you look on my hotbar, the second item in is a scanner. And I've got 20 of them now in storage. The way you make those, you need to process sand into, we'll see it here in a second. I'm doing it on our little temporary steel platform here. This is all going to go away. It's the last temporary building that exists. It's doing awesome. We have tons of steel. In fact, it probably needs to be replenished. No, it's got a bunch of coke in here. I bring this over manually. And it's just one little guy processing. 1,700 steel, and that was filling up. I started just making belts and shoving them in here just to keep this production running. In fact, I could probably put one more over. Anyway, to make these scanners, we got to take sand and run it through a steel separator. There, and that's going to get us silicon oxide. Then we take that silicon oxide and shove it into an electrolyzer. That's going to get us silicon. And then if we look at what we can do with silicon, you combine silicon with a circuit, you get an advanced circuit. And with an advanced circuit, somewhere in this list, Down here near the bottom, second one up from the bottom. With an advanced circuit, steel plate, and some copper cable, you can get a scanner, right? So I happen to have some regular circuits on me that I just grabbed from our circuit factory. Got a bunch of extra silicon, so that could be used to make the advanced circuits. We could use those for research, but I'm just using them to make these scanners. We'll automate the advanced circuits. Anyway, so I got a bunch of scanners. I think we may have done this on camera already, but I'll show you anyway. Let's head up north. This is where I'm thinking of expanding our civilization, our factory empire here. Back out this way. The downside is our building materials are a little bit further away than I want. Because that's going to be a warehouse for a lot of our building materials. But it seems like those stack pretty big. Anyway, so over here, let's look at the map. This is where I started scanning for resources. There's some iron. Let's go over this way. So, this way. And then we'll do a scan. But yeah, you can see we're getting to higher ground. That's going to open up some opportunities for us to do things underground without hitting the water. We can always keep... Oh my gosh, that was like a walking tree. Look at that. Ooh, that's awesome. A little creepy. All right, where are we at on the map? We're getting closer. Go over to an open area. All right, let me hit the scanner. I'm sitting right on top of an ore deposit. I go bring up my little scanner guy. Hit the mouse button, boom. This area has no new deposits. Basically, it's already been scanned. Keep moving forward. We're a little ways out. Let's see. New deposit discovered. Go look at the map. Oil. We got lots of oil over here. Let's go down. So that's how the scanner works. I kind of wish we had it a little sooner. Then we could have built on higher ground right from the beginning. But I probably wouldn't have thought of it anyway. Hey, new deposit discovered. Let's look here. More aluminum. Tons of aluminum. Not a lot of coal. So what I need to do... We're not going to do it on camera because it's going to take me quite a while. But I need to build a... Whoa. Let's get rid of the map. Oh, man. That's the end of the game. I lost. Let's get out of here. Can I use dirt? I haven't tried this yet. Can I pillar out of here with dirt? It's not fast. Could use blocks. Be faster, but dirt works. All right, good to know. Over this way, getting back to what I was talking about. I need to clear some trees, and I need to build a big old platform here where we can put mining drills for iron over this way. Then we need to decide what we're going to do for the coal. Let's look at the production chain for iron. Steel ingots, boom. To get steel, we need steel dust. To get steel dust, we need steel... What? Steel ingots. Steel ingots from steel dust. Steel dust. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Steel dust. For macerator. Interesting. Steel ingots. This is really how we get it. We can get it from steel dust, but steel dust is like a kind of a dead end. You can only get it from macerating steel ingots. All right, this is the way we really need to get it. Coke plus iron ingots in a copper blast furnace. That's what I'm kind of doing manually over on that temporary steel platform. We can use iron dust. We can use iron impure dust. We can use steel dust. Iron ingots. That's where the coke comes in, right? If we go back, that's where we need to produce coke. So we need a source of coal to do that. Or we could make our own. Kind of half tempted to do that just for the fun of it. It would be a lot of work, but we need to grow stuff to make that. So coal turns into coke. We can make coal if we want. From ash, from wood. So we could take wood, run it through a copper oven or any oven. Probably steel. That's tier we're on. And turn it into coal in an automated fashion. And we could grow the wood, grow the wood in aluminum, in these farms, automatic farms. That might be interesting, but man, it's going to be a lot of processing. Or maybe more likely what we would do is just belt underground the coal. So I'd need to set up a big coal mining thing here. And I guess we would turn that into coke over here. And this would be kind of a coke factory. We could send any excess into a power plant, potentially. Although we don't have a way to store power yet. We could store mechanical energy in a flywheel. But it's got some waste associated with it. But at a minimum, we could build a coke factory out here. Build our big steel factory here. Tunnel underneath to get power. We only have to tunnel. We've got power already underground over here somewhere where we're doing the mining, our stone products. So run power up here, branch it out this way, build a coke factory, and get ready to build a big old steel factory. Pretty big. Steel. Let's look at that one more time, that recipe. I think that gives us ore water too, if I'm not mistaken. Steel ingots, iron ingots. I think the iron ingot process is very similar, isn't it, to the other process we just did for copper? Okay, let's start from iron ore. Yeah, you grind it down or you hammer it. You get a 50% chance of getting some extra. Once you've got the impure ore gravel, you can macerate it for another 50% bonus yield, potentially. Or you can wash it if you want the ore water and this chromium oxide dust. Probably want that chromium oxide dust. That is going to be important for us later on. And then I mentioned earlier, this ore water is pretty valuable. Let's take a look at that. Ore water gets us clay. Clay gets us the clay terracotta, and from that we can get bricks and all that. For clay tiles. Clay also gets us aluminum oxide dust and sodium dust. So those are going to be essential for later on, I imagine. So yeah, I want to process ore water. Back. Chromium oxide dust, that is what? Mix that with aluminum dust to get chromium dust. Chromium dust. It's 3 eggs. Now plus iron dust. It's a stainless steel dust. And that's our path to, I guess, the next tier. Stainless steel ingots. We want all that stuff. So that's a lot of work. So that's what I'm going to work on. What else? Do we want to process the ore water over at the copper plant first or work on the iron factory? I think I'm going to start working on the iron stuff. Now that I think of it. We still have more building blocks to make. I want to process the red brick. We're not doing that yet. We're not even processing the dark brick. So I've got plenty of things to do. But for this episode, I just wanted to keep it short and give you an update on the strategy, where things stand. And then on next episode, hopefully, I'll have some building sites ready for us to start working on the iron. And if time allows, maybe I'll do some of this other homework I need to do. Yeah, that's it for now. This is Glidercat saying thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series on Evospace. This is kind of a little different episode just to get you up to speed on where we're at and where we're going. But let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. I want to thank Glidercat patrons and channel members for their support. And with that, I'll see you all in the next episode.